When in Rome, Chapter 16. With a gray van in mind, but no license plate except the name of the previous owner, Giorgio. Without his full name, could Maria still able to help Antonio find out who owned the vehicle before it was abandoned? It is nearly noon, and Antonio was debating whether he should give the receipt back to the police station. Well, at least I can make a copy before I returned it. The private camera across the train track was on his mind. He ought to go back and knock on the door. But he knew he needed to deal with that captain before heading back to his own station, before his chief give him a hard time again. The captain kept Antonio waited for more than 45 minutes. It was obvious he was being kept waiting on purpose, for the only person that went in and out of his office was a food delivery guy and no one since. No matter, he thought. He already phoned Maria, and they are still waiting on the credit card information. He did add it that she should inquire about the credit card usage that occurred on the day of the receipt. He won't come out? Antonio thought. I'll fish him out. Antonio got up and headed to the car lot, and just as he suspected, he was only there for less than a few minutes. The captain came to him saying, "What do you think you're doing?" "Just getting another good look at the van," Antonio replied. "What's with you and this van?" the captain asked. "Is there something you're not telling me?" "There's not much to tell, at least not right now." "Not now? What do you mean? Have you found something in the van earlier?" "Yes, a receipt." "Show me." The captain took a look. "Let me guess. You went to that beach shack already?" "Yes." "And what did they say?" "The manager won't tell me a thing. He said you guys should be the one to ask him." The captain smirked. Antonio took a deep breath. "Captain?" "Yes?" "I apologize if I stepped out of the line earlier." The captain pursed his lip with a grin and pat Antonio on the shoulder. "That's all right. You're just doing your job." "Thanks." The captain held the receipt. "Come with me. I'll get that old fart a call." "You know the manager?" "Yes." "While you're on the phone, could you find out if he used to own this gray van?" "Why?" "There's a picture of a gray van looked just like this one." He pointed. All right." When in Rome, Chapter 17. Antonio was told to wait outside the captain's office. At least this time the office door was not closed, just wide enough for Antonio to see him leaning back and place his foot at the edge of his desk while talking on the phone to possibly Giorgio. And after 20 minutes of quiet conversation and occasional laughs, the captain could only offer an information that the gray van was sold for scrap metal. At the time, Antonio knew the captain was lying, because he noticed the photograph. The gray van has a missing bumper in the front, just like the one he saw on the station's lot. And when he inquired about Giorgio's last name, the captain tossed his hand in front of the officer and said, "It's not the same van. Forget about it." It was nearly late afternoon, approximately 1600 hour, approaching the second day of Molly being missing. He stood in front of the condominium that has a security camera and rang the doorbell numerous times. No response. He stood in front of the building watching the people coming out of the train station while thinking all the possible scenarios he could think of on how Molly would disappear. An hour later, still no one approaching the building. He tried ringing the doorbell again, still no one answering. He passed the side of the building and saw the back with a parking lot. Many possibilities, he thought. The person could have came home in a car and went in the building from the back and choose not to answer. Or the person could have chose not to answer and left in the car. Or the person chose not to answer at all. Or the person was working much later, which he didn't have any more time to waste. Besides, there was a tall foliage on the side of the courtyard facing the train station. It would have been difficult to see a clear footage, even if there was one. He drove back to the station while visualizing the scenarios of what if the mint green van was the fan that kidnapped Molly. Then it was possible to use the traffic surveillance camera to track it down. Antonio met with an IT guy in the building. He spoke with him and asked for his help. He said, what if you track down the green van within the perimeter between the parking lot at the marina and the train station in the 2-hour time frame between 10 to 12? It is possible, said the IT guy. But it's going to take some time. How much time? A couple hours, the IT guy looked perplexed. Which case file is this related to? Antonio hesitated a bit and said, it is in the preliminary, but we think the evidence we gather so far are very close in reaching the end. He placed his hand on the IT guy's shoulder. If you can help us out, we can close this case even faster, and I will definitely let the chief know. The IT guy nodded with a slight grin. All right, give me a call in a couple of hours, and I'll let you know. Back at his office, he immediately picked up the phone and dialed the bar shack's phone number, asking for the waitress with the code. He should have asked for her name. Moments later, she picked up. This is Officer Rossi. I spoke with you earlier. Oh, yes, I remember. Did you get any chance to talk to the other waitress? I did. What did she say? It's actually kind of strange. Right after I told her about your inquiry, she suddenly said she wasn't feeling well and decided to go home. At that moment, Antonio gripped the phone tighter. He asked, what is her name? Melissa. Antonio took a deep breath. Does she have a boyfriend? Yeah. What is his name? The waitress paused for a moment and said, Nick. Why? Without answering her, he asked, how long are you going to be at the bar? Well, I get off in about an hour. I'll be right there.